everybody, I'm TJ Major, spotter of the 88 Cup car this week. The 42 truck, 6 Cup car, and even ARCA race.
You did the 88 Cup car this week?
88 Xfinity car. Did I? My bad.
He's not back. 2012.
TJ was somewhere that we weren't.
I was in another one. I at some points I wish I was somewhere else during the weekend, but
you must have been with Freddie all day yesterday.
I should have been probably the way my weekend went. So
we're in the middle of the Xfinity race, and I just see TJ is thrashing. There's cords flying everywhere.
That's a terrible feeling.
It's not fun. It pisses me off because I'm like OCD, and your whole bag gets rearranged when this happens, and
it's even more frustrating when you know it's not you with a problem.
I know. We knew it wasn't me, and then decided, oh, well, it is you. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm listening to myself. I can hear myself fine. It's not me. Anyway, hey, welcome.
Brett Griffin, I did not spot this past weekend, but I was in Bristol, and, man, that place is still just as cool as it ever was.
Yeah.
You wake up yet, Freddie?
Freddie's rough right now, just for visual
You had a hell of a
here.
run Saturday night.
We did. We had a hell of a finish, at least. Hi, Freddie Kraft, spotter for Bubba Wallace, Kyle Sieg, and Ty Dillon this week. We had a good finish to the race. We were really good for 2 laps, not so good for about 100 laps, and then really, really good for the last 50 of the 160 lap run or whatever.
Which are pretty much completely irrelevant because you couldn't pass
Oh,
anybody.
we were hauling ass at the end. We passed everybody third.
I don't even think we saw. Like, I don't think our cars even got near
for
each
the
other.
first time ever, maybe.
Like 500 laps around a half mile. We cars never.
The only time we were getting near him, TJ pits under green. When do you ever pit under green at Bristol?
That's true.
As soon as we catch him, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm like, you're pitting? What do you mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a wild race. Hi, Karsyn.
Hello. Good morning.
How are you today?
You feel older this week?
A little bit. Don't know what I'm still
Did you
doing,
properly celebrate your birthday week? Did you have
I
a
would
week?
say so. I ended up at the Thirsty Beaver at the end of the night on my birthday, so I think I did all right.
For anybody that doesn't know, you have to Google the Thirsty Beaver and just find a picture of it because the picture
It'll
is
do all the
amazing.
explaining.
I damn sure would not hit images.
Yeah.
Don't look further than
Be
the outside.
careful. Thirsty. Maybe Google Thirsty Beaver bar. Maybe we'll go there. Like
Charlotte NC bar. Get as specific.
Where's
as you
that?
can.
Is it in Charlotte downtown?
It's the one that the guy wouldn't sell the bar to build the condo, so it's just this mini bar
No,
and
apartments.
surrounded by apartments.
It's like batteries not included. Little
So we should cancel all podcasts after a Sunday off. I'm just gonna put that out there from next week, next Sunday
That's
off.
supposed to be a day of rest.
Made that decision. For
Yeah,
us.
that's a day of rest and recovery, Frank.
That's what I did. I rested and did not recover at all.
You got to celebrate your big finish.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what we were doing.
I saw that Bubba met Stephen A. Smith. I actually texted with him a little bit about it because I'm a huge Stephen A. fan. I don't always
Makes
agree
sense.
I don't always agree with what he says, and that's exactly what I told Bubba. I
I'm
said,
completely shocked here.
that guy gives zero. I want to meet him. That was awesome.
Yeah, I saw he was at Airspeed over the weekend, or actually, I forget when it was, like the end of last week probably. But yeah, Bristol. Sorry, TJ, you're out.
It's
Welcome to the out of the
we weren't
playoff
fast
club.
enough, so
No,
you got to earn it, and we didn't earn it. So
I agree.
it is what it is.
How was the race on television? Because in person, it was rather boring.
So I was obviously at the racetrack, but I was not there for Saturday night. I went home Saturday morning to watch Bodie play baseball. Oh, it's bad.
The guy led 467 laps.
I mean,
or 62 laps.
and
right?
I don't listen. I think Bristol is probably one of those racetracks that we all feel like we can showcase our sport and make people fall in love with NASCAR. I mean, A, it's a short track. B, it's at night, obviously racing under the lights. C, it's super high banked. Like the optics of this place are like nowhere else on earth, honestly. And so for us to go there with this amount of horsepower, which, by the way, I think some Ford Mustangs have more horsepower than what we're racing in race cars, and to go there with this tire that has no fall off, it was painful. I mean, Gluck's poll is, I think it was 73% of the people said it was a bad race, and the 20+% of people that said it was a good race are probably Kyle Larson fans.
You think so?
And if I were Kyle Larson, I would have had a great time driving my car too.
I don't know. I obviously the race I didn't think was very good, but I don't know what more you could race kind of every lane. It's just this. I don't know if it's just the car, but like
The track's not the issue. We
No,
saw that.
like-
I mean, we saw it with the Xfinity car too. I mean, you can be all over that racetrack.
Yeah, and listen. That was as far as I know, that was the same tire that we had all the problems with in the fall or the spring.
Okay, well, what variable changed?
A lot more races. There's 2 more races. There was
not buying that.
no rain.
Not
It
buying
was
that either.
warmer. I'm just telling you what the changes are. You don't have to buy it or not, but I'm just telling you what the differences were.
We've seen rain at racetracks before, and it doesn't.
The
do
only
that.
thing that, I mean, if the tire was legitimately the same, which I'm pretty sure it is. I've talked to some tire guys that said it felt a little bit different. Like it felt harder this time, maybe more cured than the spring. But like, what did they do to the track? Was the track different? Did they spray something different on the track? That's the only variable that we don't know for sure was different or not. But I know in the spring we could run 30 laps, and in the fall we ran 163 laps.
So it's hard for me to believe it's the same.
Yeah.
And
Something is different.
Clearly, I'm not a scientist, but if they were the same, there's a variable that greatly improved the tire's ability to last.
Even in the spring there, we ran a truck race, and it was completely right on the bottom the entire time. Like practice and qualifying,
Yep.
everything was
Yep.
right on the bottom,
Yep.
and it never came off the bottom. And I don't know.
I want you to finish your point because on Thursday night I tweeted, "Man, this truck race groove sure moved up awful fast." I'm concerned about the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there was just no. It was clearly obvious in the truck race that you couldn't come off the bottom. Like we were all backing up row. Like I was moving forward multiple rows at a time to try to gain, and you couldn't get back down. We literally would jump 3-4 rows moving to the outside with I had Bailey Curry, and we would try to get back down, and we couldn't. We ended up losing ground even after jumping up 3 rows on the outside. So it was completely different racetrack. And my question would be, did all the series go back with the same tire? I'm assuming they probably did.
I would assume.
I mean, you don't hear anything about it, but to be the exact same tire, there's something way off here somewhere. Whether, like you said, maybe the how old the tire is, but I don't know how many months ago was the spring race?
Oh, I mean, March, April, well, not that long.
So I have a hard time believing a tire goes from being 30 to 70 laps to not even have to change them.
Well,
Probably change them twice a race, maybe.
Danny said that the teams would get better and make them last longer. Maybe
Yeah.
you think he meant another 130 laps?
Oh, I don't. And honestly, it's probably more than 130 laps.
Oh,
I
yeah, we
mean,
could have ran for
Yeah.
whatever until we ran out of gas.
Exactly.
The thing, like in JR, I don't remember if JR tweeted this or texted me this, but the thing about the fall race, the spring race was like we talked about fall off. There wasn't really fall off. You ran the same lap time for 30, 40 laps,
Yes.
and then the tire came apart. Like it wasn't like you ran and it started to slow down and wear, and then you just ran as fast as you could, and all of a sudden the tire came apart.
when you used
Like,
it up, it was
yeah,
gone.
it was gone.
And
It
it was
was
on.
over.
Using it up was on
Yeah.
the driver basically too.
Yeah. But yeah, it was frustrating because we had a decent car. We were probably, I would say, back half of the top 10, 12-ish car wise. And we could run there, but it was all heat related. So you would just run your ass off because we told Bubba and I think Larson talked about it, like you're running 500 qualifying laps, which is not what we want. Like you should have to manage yourself a little bit more than that. But we would just run up on somebody, get our tires hot, have to sit there for a little while, let them cool down, and then just go back and charge again. Chase was doing a really good job every stage. He would be a straightaway behind us, then just run us down at the end of the stage, pass us. So it was really just clean air. And if at the very end of a run, maybe you can make some moves. But other than that, it was just you were kind of locked in position again, which you don't want to see that at Bristol.
Here's the thing that I used to love about Bristol when we went to this reconfiguration and the groove was around the top. You at least raced. You didn't just run around out there wide open, not being able to pass. And I have never had as many people, and I've only been not spotting full time for 3-4 years, whatever the number is. I had a enormous amount of people texting me that are buddies of mine and tweeting me that obviously we interact on Twitter saying that this is awful. And the ones that were there in the stands tweeting this is awful are the ones I feel the worst for because they're thousands of dollars into that trip.
Yeah, I don't think it was the race that any of us were really expecting to have. But like So now you got a baseline from whatever happened in the spring to whatever happened now. Now you have to find whatever the differences really were. Now you got to find the medium ground, I guess. Or hopefully we can, or go back. Running. It's every race that we've ever ran with these cars where you run as hard as you can the entire race does not.
It doesn't
turn
go
into
well.
a good race. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about some comments later, but there is nothing fun about doing that. You know what I mean? Like it's not, there's nothing good about the racing whenever, like, just because, a guy runs, really hard and, he's up front, whatever, you can't tell me that, the guy that won the race probably ran 100% every single lap. I'm going to go and tell you he didn't.
Yeah.
So, but we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, I don't know. I was really hoping that you could damage the tires and hurt them. Like, hey, this guy went a little bit too hard. And I thought we had a really good point to go off of with the last race there. A little bit of tire rubber down the track. People can make it work a little bit longer. And I thought maybe the teams would get it to the 70 to 100 lap mark or something. But now it didn't. And now it's just as hard as you can go, and no punishment for it.
Bristol is just one of those places, and you could see this in the driver pre-race interviews, that the drivers absolutely love being there.
It's cool. I mean, when you walk into that place, it's like when you walk through when you're walking out to a football field for the first time. Yeah, you've seen, Freddie's seen a million Giants games on TV, but when you go to a game and you walk out that tunnel and you just see the field, there's always like that, wow, this is cool. And that's Bristol. I mean, all the racetracks are, but Bristol, everything's right here. And to walk out there, even if you walk to the front of the grandstands, look down that banking, you're like, whoa, this is way more than what it looks like on TV.
I think the most entertaining race I watched all week was the first 50 laps of the ARCA race, because you've got guys out there
going 12 mile an hour.
There, one guy said his car was still set up for Michigan. About the same setup. I mean, I'd imagine Michigan and Bristol are about the same. That guy got lapped before the leaders completed lap 2.
Yeah, it was 1 3/4 laps because we had a little bit of bet going on.
Did they let him stay out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ran probably like the next 2 runs maybe. And then
Did he get faster?
yeah, he went much. I think it's the second time it took him the second lap to get lapped.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think.
then there was the other car that was set up for Kansas, and he lasted a little bit longer.
It's
Forward thinking.
I don't want to say it's a joke, but it's kind of a joke. Like the leaders aren't racing the first 50 laps. They're just dodging race cars. I think it was Zilich and Swalich were the 2 leaders at the time, and they can't even race each other because they're just having to stay in line because they're going by these slow cars every 2 laps. Like they can't race each other until
all right, you got half a lap till you catch another one. You got this corner only. Make a move.
And finally, I don't even know, probably by halfway, maybe lap 50, whatever it was, they finally either wreck themselves or falls apart and they got to pit, and then they're gone. Then they can finally race the second half. But the first half of that race,
there was still a lot in the second half.
Thank God a lot of them were gone, but there was still some out there.
The ones you caught every 4 laps, and then there was others that you caught every 10, and then you got others you caught every 15.
How many cars are there?
There was almost 40 that race.
There's a bunch.
Okay. Why?
Why are we letting them race? I don't know.
Why are we letting them race if they're that slow?
I want to do a
That's a question
GoFundMe
for
for you to
somebody.
run that race next year.
I could go faster than that.
You could have gone out there in your pickup truck and run faster than that guy was running in that 93 car. Like, it's hard to get lapped in a lap.
Shoot, I saw
I mean, yeah. Yeah. That's special.
I saw Duggar go down the banking faster than a couple of them.
That video.
Oh, better save that to later.
I'll have to show you
Oh,
that.
yeah,
I
later.
didn't see that.
Did he bust his ass?
No. Oh,
No. Luckily, he had 14 people holding him, so he couldn't fall down.
Yeah, boots off, socks.
Had to take his cowboy boots off.
Everybody put
That was the point of the night when I had to leave. Dale's like, what we all got to do is go down there and walk up to banking. And I was like, see ya. I'm going out this other way. I'm not walking up there and bust my ass. Duggar didn't take that advice. He was going to fall down the banking, determined.
Yeah, grippy socks at least.
What else happened out there? Truck race was pretty good. Cutoff race. No, not cutoff race. That was second race of the
It was
round.
yeah.
Who the hell won? Oh, Riggs again.
Oh yeah.
Killed him.
Yeah.
Like, this
Second
kid's
half came
He's going to
alive,
win every
yeah.
playoff race, I guess.
He rode. This is probably the best race that I've seen Lane run yet. When he rode around the first half, didn't force anything, and then obviously worked on his truck or knew his truck was good enough that if he rode there and took care of his stuff, he'd get an opportunity to get up there and lead the race, and that's what he did. And it's probably the best race that I've seen him run yet.
I'm not discounting what he did because I watched it and I thought he did a great job, but it's ironic and odd that all of a sudden they're stupid fast. When that happens, usually teams find something to make that happen.
You're not saying
I'm not insinuating.
Boundaries.
No, I'm just saying that. I mean, listen, man, it doesn't take a little bit. It goes a long ways with speed, and obviously they found something because they've been fast the last 5
and
races.
It's the last race that he won was Milwaukee, which is a completely different type of racetrack, flat. I don't think they run a flatter track than Milwaukee. And then you go to this one, which is arguably
not flat.
Yeah, it's the opposite of
much.
flat. So, I mean, congrats to them guys on a big win, and if it's the right time of year to find something.
I can't believe your driver
What?
slipped up in the media this week and said something about Hendrick signing Justin Haley. Why do you do that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You can't be starting those rumors, Brad.
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't even say anything. Did he really say? I don't know.
He did say he said that basically that somebody asked if he was upset about Justin leaving the RFK camp because obviously he's going from Rick Ware where they have an alliance with RFK to Spire, and he said, well, we just couldn't compete with the Hendrick offer. And that was, listen, you can give us all the in the world you want. We didn't start the rumor. We can hash this out again, but this is where that rumor came from. People knew Justin Haley was signing with Hendrick Motorsports.
Really?
So if that's the case,
Did you know that, Brett?
if Justin Haley is signing at Hendrick Motorsports, who are they going to replace? Well, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Kyle Larson. Fairly confident it's not going to be Chase Elliott.
Are you sure?
I want.
It's
I am not partaking in this conversation.
No, you can sit out. It's not going to be William Byron. So the rumor has to be Alex Bowman. That's where the rumor comes from. We didn't start the rumor. That's where it came from, and that's why it came about because Justin Haley was signing with Rick Hendrick. Luckily, thankfully, Alex I think should be thanking us because as soon as we brought it up on here, the been on a tear like nobody's business. I think he's third in points at the end of the first round.
He scored more points. He scored way more points than anybody in the first.
And I'm happy.
race.
And I think they announced, or Rick said in a press conference somewhere that he's back in the car, obviously. So good. I'm glad for that. But that's where this rumor came from, that Hendrick Motorsports was signing Justin Haley, and where was he going to go? And he's in the 7 car. So congrats to him. Lajoie's in the 51, which I thought was interesting. They would not commit past the end of the year. So
Really?
Yeah, I think they asked Robbie about that. So I don't know where that leaves Corey. I guess it's just
I'd say it's a contractual issue is why they probably can't go any further than the end of the year. That is just a guess on my part because there's some complications there. It sounds like.
I mean, switching rides at this point in the year is already.
I don't remember the last time this happened.
Dude, Elliott, Sadler, and somebody swapped. David Gilliland. When Elliott left M&M's car to go into the 19 Dodge car. This is smart.
I mean, there's just a lot of things that have to.
The only thing that I'll say for Justin Haley that I think is not on the positive side, and I think there's tons of things that are, is you're going to Spire without Rodney, and you're going to Spire without OEM support, which there is a rumor that Spire is in a lot of talks with Chevrolet to become a Tier 1 team, basically a mini Hendrick, which is a huge deal if Spire gets that and makes that happen. Obviously, it's not done, but you look back at Front Row a couple years ago where they didn't have Tier 1 status. Now they do. Look how much better they run. It's 9-day difference. But regardless, I still think from a business perspective, it's brilliant to make the move. Why wouldn't you? Corey's going to be in that car, it sounds like, next year. Justin's obviously in the 7 next year. Why wouldn't you give him a 10-race head start?
Yeah, for sure.
Neither one of them are in the playoff. I mean,
Nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. I mean, nothing against either one of them, but I mean, they both run outside the top 20, 25 for the most part in the last few weeks.
Corey's been actually pretty good lately. Like the last,
he had a hit top 10 run a couple weeks ago.
And he was running
at the Glen.
top
He was
12
decent
this week and
I
and
agree.
wrecked.
Yeah.
It's funny how in the sport, when you find out you're about to get fired, you either do one of two things. You roll over and suck, or you haul ass. And I don't care who you are. It's always been this way ever since I've been here. You hear somebody, you want to make somebody go fast. You want to make NASCAR the best racing in the world.
Just tell everybody.
Give everybody a 1-year deal and say you got 1 year and you got to meet these criteria. You got to win. You got to be top 12 in points. You talk about fun, then it's fun.
I don't think that sounds like much fun, Brett.
I did it for 8 years in a row with a driver.
I don't think that sounds
And it was the
much
most
fun.
stressful I've
That's
ever done
exactly
in my
what
life.
I'm sitting here thinking about.
It's not fun. But you know what they do?
All
ass.
They get up on the wheel.
Anywho,
So you want to know the ARCA race?
I'm spotting ARCA this week.
Me too.
Son of a
At
gun.
least
got?
there's room to suck there, though. At Bristol, there's no room to
Who
suck.
do you got this
How
week?
is I'm gonna have Isabella Robusto.
Oh, that's right.
Aw, love her.
Talk about before we move on to spot on, spot off. TJ, how did your race go on Friday
I was hoping
night?
we skipped this one. Basically, if it could go wrong, it went wrong. Yeah, it was. We had problems in practice with the radios, and I guess they thought they fixed it. But no, they definitely didn't fix it. I've never, honestly, I didn't even know we were pitting the
What
first
did
time.
it ended up being the harness, right?
It ended up being multiple things. It ended up being where it connects in the helmet to the harness.
It sounded to me like Friday night when I was on pit road, they were blaming it on Zillage. Too much champagne got in the harness.
So there is that, but I mean, listen, that doesn't mess up his helmet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there was multiple things because he could hold the connector to the helmet or something at one point. And he's like, "Oh, when I hold it right here, it'll work." And so we swapped to the helmets, obviously. And honestly, to do everything we did, not lose a lap, I thought the guys did a really good job of being prepared for all that. And but there was so many things that happened that race, from swapping helmets, swapping harnesses, radios, push to talk buttons. And then I've never heard, do you want your glasses open or folded when we hand them back into you?
I heard one say, "Where are my glasses?"
And then I got told, "Hey, try not to talk loud." I dropped the radio on the floorboard. It turned itself all the way up, and it's real loud. So I'm like, okay. Like,
Damn, acting like he's out of practice or something.
And then I'm like, just pull the cable and yank. They're like, it's screwed in. Just pull the cable and pull the radio back. And then he's like, well, good news is the radio found its way to the water bottle holder. But I don't know where the water bottle is. So it was like just one thing after another. But I mean, there was 40 in-car cameras in that thing, which I'm not sure wasn't part of the issue with some of this stuff going on, because they're like, hey, you disappeared for 4 or 5 laps on restarts. So I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything different. I'm sitting in the same spot and not doing anything different. So
he said he felt like he was having like that moment where Dale Sr. was wiping his windshield at, what was that, Richmond? Remember?
Yeah.
He said that's how he felt. Like he had his helmet off. He's digging up in there trying to get his earbuds
he did a good
fixed.
job getting his everything hooked back up, and honestly, it made it. It wasn't fun to be involved in at a time, but I'm sure it was entertaining as hell for everyone that was watching and listening and stuff. I'm sure it was great entertainment, but I didn't hear. Apparently, he lost his cool there for a minute in the beginning. I didn't hear it because I was probably swapping cables or radios. But I guess right in the beginning when he couldn't hear, I guess he was like, "What the?" Yeah, real bad. I don't know if you guys heard any of it or something, but I guess he was. But after that,
I figured the whole time what you were thinking is, man, I wish this would have happened to Denny Hamlin. That's what I thought you were thinking.
No, I was thinking, more of like God, he's gonna be really mad at some point. But luckily, the best part of it was they had to put a new push to talk button in there, and they had to put it on his belt right here. So to talk, he had to actually reach back and get it, and he couldn't do that because he how he drives. And
So you didn't have to listen to him whine.
I didn't have to hear.
Night.
He didn't have a lot of time to complain, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the plus side of it. But honestly, it was fun because we were still really competitive. He was. I mean, I'm not so sure he wouldn't just pit to go to the back and pass everybody for fun anyway. Because knifing through the traffic like he was, I could tell like he was having fun doing it. And once we got the radio to where he could hear right, we were back just outside we were right around the top 10-ish at that point, and he was. I could tell like the tone in his voice changed. And then we had that restart, and he's down there mixing it up with these guys and just, all but spinning him out when when they come up on the straightaway and clear themselves. He barely bumped. He's racing now and having fun, and he comes on the radio and he's like, "Man, it's fun as hell." I'm like, "Wow, okay, that's good."
I was curious, and look, he's supposed to go out there and beat an SVG at a place like Bristol, in my mind. But I was surprised he beat a lot of the other guys he beat. He's 50 years old. He hadn't run a race all year. Bristol's not an easy track to go get around. Like I was sitting there thinking, all right, if I'm Brandon Jones and I'm kicking my boss's ass, I'm finally feeling good about myself this year. Like I'm having a great night. But if I'm some of those other guys, I feel like I just got my ass kicked by an old man.
I think he probably should have ran top 5. He kind of got boxed in behind Truex. And really seemed like he couldn't go to the bottom late. You know, like as soon as he moved down, like the top.
He could get inside. It was the thing
just,
where you could get inside and all but clear him off of 2. And then in 3 and 4, 3 and 4 was just a better corner for the high side. So they get it all back down there. And Ryan did not he made a couple of small mistakes, but they weren't big enough to capitalize on. So Ryan did a really good job. And then he let Brandon go to go up there and race with Ryan and stuff. And he probably could have finished 4th or 5th. I mean, legit, if we had been up there the whole race.
Where did you finish, 7th?
7th, yeah. I think we had
There were a couple times, too, the bottom on restarts just did not go.
Yeah, we were in that because he wanted to be on the bottom with it.
Yeah.
And I think you see how aggressive a few of the guys are on the restarts. And he's just like, I'm just going to get on the bottom, let them, if they hit, they're going to, when you hit on restarts, they always go up first. So, but no, it was fun, man. He did a really good job. Andrew had a fast car, and after changing the entire car in the first couple stages there, it was actually pretty fun.
Good. All right, we're going to take a break, and we are going to return with Spot On, Spot Off.
Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets.
You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, when you place your first $5 bet.
That's FanDuel.com/DBC.
Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. All right, we're back. We're going to get into Spot On, Spot Off. Y'all ready?
Nah.
Well, not you. You haven't been ready since we got here. But all right. After the race, Kyle Larson said, as a driver, I would rather run 100% all night long for 500 laps than run 50% managing tire wear. I don't think that's much of a race. I think that version of Bristol is way more exciting. Spot on, spot off. Freddie.
If I had just led 462 laps,
Yeah.
I'd say, please don't change a thing. But that's just, that's not what I think is ideal racing for us. Like, I think you want to have it in the driver's hands where they have to manage their car and can't just run 500 qualifying laps. Like, that's just the way I feel. Like, I feel like anytime, like you talked about earlier, anytime we have a race where we're just running wide open the whole time or hauling, like not saving anything, the race kind of sucks. And that race last night or Saturday night kind of sucked. And it's because this guy led 460 laps of 500, which I think was the most since Cale Yarborough in 1977. So, it's, I don't know. I just come from a world of modified racing and you got to manage your tires and take care of stuff. And that we didn't do any of that Saturday night.
I'm spot off.
No
I don't know how you put one of the fastest guys in the fastest car. Man, that sounds like a great race. Let's start him up in the front too, and see what happens.
Yeah, thank God he didn't start on the pole. He would have led all 500.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Freddie said though, if that was me, I don't want to change a thing either. But the driver, I'm not. Obviously Kyle Larson's one of the most talented drivers in the world, and I want to see him manage the car. Like, he didn't have to manage his car at all right there. He had the fastest car. What do you like? You're not really, I mean, yeah, you're going to be fast. So I want to see, the driver, and not that it doesn't come into play there, but I think you could have there's 10, 15 other guys in the field that you probably could have put in that car and it'd have been probably really close to the same result. I want to see, I think the last race there was a little too much of manager tire stuff, but man, I want to see, when he drives that sprint car, you're not full throttle all the time. You got to manage your car a little bit. You got to manage when you're running the top at Eldora, they're feathering on the cushion trying to get a run. Like, that's what I want to see here. I want to see these guys on edge a little bit, not stuck to the racetrack, running qualifying laps every single lap.
There were how many wrecks at Bristol?
Not enough.
Cars are too easy to drive. Why aren't they wrecking?
Yeah, I think the only wrecks were guys getting. I think Corey got in the back of Joey when Joey wrecked. Right, that was
there was the Josh Berry and Corey Lajoie. Corey got crossed up at the wrong, and Josh was all over him when it happened. So
how do you have that many? And listen, I don't go to the racetrack to watch wrecks, but wrecks happen when guys run out of talent, and wrecks happen when cars are out of control. And when you go to a place like that with that many vehicles on a track that small, you don't have wrecks. It's telling you something. All you got to do is look at it. The cars are too easy to drive. I'm sorry.
No, you just sounded like you were being a fortune teller for just.
I am. I'm a fortune.
It's telling you something.
Show me your palm.
It's telling you
Oh,
something.
Let me read your lifeline.
I did hear a oh gosh. I did see
True.
some comments from Joey last week on it. I think he does an XM show. And he said like too much tire. And he made them comments. There was just too much tire, cut the tire in half, groove it, something like they're just too much grip. I mean, they're literally
Make short tracks great again.
stuck to the ground.
We can do it.
I agree.
We can do it. But here's my thing about what he's saying, Karsyn, is, and you're a race car driver, everything he's saying that he would want, he got, and he led the race, won the race. Everything he's saying he wouldn't want, which is tire wear, is literally what the Cars Tour is hanging its hat on. Managing tire, taking care of your equipment. Like, you can have a front runner.
That's what we just switched back to.
You can have a front runner that's good on the front end of a run. You can have a last spurt that's good at the end of the race. I mean, you can go like hell. I remember Kyle Busch at Dover. He used to go like hell. And the first half of that run, he'd get a half a track. And then the second half of the run, everybody run him down, and he'd end up third or fourth before we'd pit, right? So, man, I'm all for making it harder. It just, as a fan, it looked too easy.
He must have hated the old Atlanta.
Well, he must have.
And obviously, these guys are selfish. Like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't want to change anything. Like we did that.
I don't blame him. I wouldn't either.
We did that Martinsville test a couple months ago, or maybe a month ago, whatever it was. And Bubba was giving feedback about we were trying different tires, different left sides, different right sides, going back and forth. And Bubba's like, this one had a lot more fall off. Yeah, this is better for the racing and overall. And Booty's like, I don't give a about the racing over. What's going to make us better? Like which one of these tires are going to cater more to us? Like, for hell with the racing, like what's going to help us more?
All right. Bristol saw 8 lead changes, only 4 different leaders, and just 10 drivers on the lead lap with a 7-second margin of victory. NASCAR cannot settle for these results with the short track package. Spot on, spot off, TJ.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't. Where the hell were the 8 lead changes? Who the hell else was leading?
so in the beginning, I
Was
mean,
it
there
a
was
pit stop?
near the
Was it
front.
pit stops or something?
I think one of them, a couple of them might have been, but I think in the beginning there were a couple. So
I mean, I don't remember. I know.
Bowman got
Bob
passed.
Hawker's tweeted that, so it's true.
It's definitely true. I'm just saying, I don't
Yeah.
remember there being like. I think Kyle got to the lead. He started third or fourth,
Yeah.
right? He was up there. So then I remember him getting a lead, and I don't remember. I
Well,
know
Reddick
Reddick stayed out the one stage.
Reddick stayed out. Yeah,
But the lead changes must have come under yellow because I don't remember anybody else leading under green.
there was probably two or three legit up front. Like once cars getting to where their natural position would be, and that was it.
Yeah, I hate the. Yes, there's a problem, but I don't know what the fix is. So like without just taking this car and starting over.
Well, we've already shown that with a different tire, it can be different.
Yeah.
So there's, like I was saying earlier, there's got to be a happy medium somewhere where you can find where you want to have speed, but you also need to have brains with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
All I can say is I hope we don't sit back and do nothing because there's a lot of room for improvement. I mean, when you have, 10 cars in the lead lap at the end of the race?
Yeah.
If you don't, what happens if you don't have stages?
Would be 5 cars, if that, on the lead lap. Like we ran top 7 most of the night. We were on the same straightaway as him, but other than that, like everybody else was way behind us. So
Yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know.
You couldn't even do anything strategy wise. Like, hey, there was no room for anything. There was no strategy to be played. There was nothing.
You talk about not doing anything different. By all accounts of what they're saying, they did nothing different from the spring. And
Somebody
this race was
Somebody did. They might not have told somebody, but they did.
This race was not the same as we saw then. So we got to get to the bottom of whatever changed because something changed. And I mean, if you're just going to blame it on the weather, then I'm not buying it.
Did you see the campgrounds this time? Like, and I'm
100,000 people there.
There was a lot of.
There was
I
a
You can't
lot
put
of
on a
people.
bad show. You can't
I
put on a
think
bad
the spring
show.
race
Is why they were there.
promoted that because they wanted to come and see that.
Yes.
Kyle Larson
and
didn't
they
want to
got
see
the
it.
complete opposite.
It's terrible racing. I mean, it's great racing.
Will
for
those
him.
people come back in the spring? Like, why would you be back?
Not if there's not.
I mean,
a
I hope they
change.
do. I'm not saying don't come. Please come
Listen,
to the
that was
racetrack.
as
But-
far as a great racing weekend. That is, you have 4 races. They pack the schedule with different like it's
Events
a
and
great
things,
schedule.
yeah.
Yes, Bristol did a great job, and the weather all weekend for like the first time in 300 years was awesome in Bristol. It was hot.
Shout out to the Bristol Speedway track personnel for the multiple beer runs they made for us on Friday night.
I didn't know there was an option there.
You get beer on the spotter stand now? I'll make them back.
No, this is.
I'm also interested in
this-
joining
I'd
the
be a hell of a lot
spotters
better
union
at
you
this.
guys speak of.
This was on pit road, and I think only one guy could probably make this happen. So,
Well, one guy asked another guy, and the other guy made it happen.
yeah,
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
pretty much
After
yeah.
the race.
After the race, yeah, this is post race.
I thought you were drinking on the spotter stand. I'm like, well,
I wish I was drinking on
After
the
2
spotter.
beers, I could enjoy the hell out of some spot.
I had the middle of that race. I was wishing I was drinking.
Fair enough. All right. After the race, Denny Hamlin's crew chief, Chris Gabehart, said, I thought it was as racy as you can expect it to be at Bristol with this car. These are the best stock car teams in the world. They're all separated by nothing. If you don't give them enough ways to separate themselves, this is what you're going to see. Spot on, spot off. Brett.
I'm spot off for Chris Gabehart saying what he said. He and I were texting after the race, and I mean, his words to me were, they're all too similar for meaningful disparity, and
That sounds like
I
a gay
hope-
hard line.
I know. I hope he doesn't hear the next thing that I'm about to say. Is I think at this point in our sports existence that Chris Gabehart is the absolute best at what he does inside of the garage, and I think he gets the most out of his driver. I think he gets the most out of his car and his team around him, and I think that when he hangs it up, he could be very valuable in a leadership role with NASCAR. Like, he's the kind of guy that I hope that gets hired to help us, because he's not drinking the Kool-Aid with what he's telling you. He's telling you that the cars are too similar and they're all going the same speed, which TJ has said on here multiple times they look like, quote, slot cars. Chris also made a comment, I think I saw, that you could run the bottom, you could run the middle, you could run the top, and you ran the same lap time no matter where you ran, right? So I'm spot on for what he's saying here. I think you need to, if I'm NASCAR and I'm Elton Sawyer and Brad Moran and whoever else, I'm going to sit down and say, with my top 5 crew chiefs, let's have a round table. Leave your cell phones outside. Nobody can hear or see what we're about to talk about. What do you guys think we can do to help make this better? Now, to Freddie's point earlier, selfishly, they're going to tell you things that are going to make them faster. But if you can take a conglomeration of it and make a collaborative effort to get to a point, we got to do something right here. The worst thing we can do is nothing.
And I think Gabehart's been the one to talk about this, or it might have been Denny before, but you made all the cars the same, and now you're giving all the drivers everybody else's information, so the drivers are going to drive the same. What do you think? Where do you want the disparity to come in? Because the only way to pass is I got to be different than you. I have to be faster than you, or I have to outdrive you. Well, if we're all driving the same and the cars are all the same, like, you're just based on setup, which setups are, everybody's going to know how to go fast. So there's I don't know where you want the racing to come from when you make everything the same. It's just,
Well, I think that's already been shown. I think they've shown that there can be, like the tires. If you bring a different tire and you put the driver more into play. I mean, we saw tons of passes at Bristol. You could drive to the front if you want to, but man, you better be ready to take care of pay the price for it. But like I said before, I think that was a little too much. But the driver and how hard he drove that car mattered. If he had speed, if he had speed if he wanted it, but you had to manage it. And that's the most. And the end of that race, who were the top 3 guys? The guys that had to do that many years ago when they had all that horsepower and you could spin the tire to the start-finish line pretty much at every track that you went to.
Well, there's a big difference in 900 horsepower and 650.
Well, that and, if you give them a tire like the size of that 65-inch TV behind you, I mean, that's
You're saying that's big?
it's not that big. I don't think it's 65 inches. I think it's like 15. The tire, the TV's, but I think the TV's bigger than 65.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you give these guys, the last thing these guys need is more grip. like straight up. I mean, that's the team's job to go find that in setup stuff. The last thing these guys need.
And guess what happens if you're running 500 qualifying laps? You got way too much grip.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. We've said it on here 1,000 times, and it'll never not be true. Off throttle time is what leads to good racing. The longer we're off the throttle, the better the racing is.
Why are you off throttle?
Because your car's not driving good, or you're trying to manage your tire like that.
Well,
we
yeah.
can see guys run up on each other and move them in the spring, because the guy in front of him was trying to take care of his stuff. Like this time, you can't even get to the guy in front of you to move him if you wanted to, because you can't catch him. You know, like it's just you got to figure out a way to get these guys off the throttle.
Off the throttle time is opportunity to pass. On throttle time is not.
Absolutely.
I'm not a scientist. I don't understand
really?
physics like
Get
Chris
outta here.
Capehart.
I thought you were.
I don't
you
understand.
had me fooled this whole time.
I know. I've been working hard at fooling you, which isn't that hard. But it's so right there in front of you. Get off the gas.
And I like to see them guys have to manage the throttle. Like I like to see them have, like, you can't get full throttle because you're going to spin out. I want to see the guys that are really good at doing that. And, you know, I think the guys that, you know, have experience with that, or guys that come from, you know, maybe different backgrounds, like Kyle Larson's obviously going to be really good at it because he's had to do that. That's what he grew up doing. But, man, like, if you can't get full throttle because you're going to get loose or wiggle, that opens up room for error, right?
Here's what I was waiting on in this race. A wreck with 15 to go. And we get more wrecks as a result. And then people are like, oh, my God, this was the greatest Bristol race ever. And then 75% of them are going to vote yes versus no. How many wins does Kyle Larson have without late cautions this year? Probably 8 instead of 5. Like, there's so many times that fans get duped into, oh, this was a great race because we had a wreck at the end, and then we had a green-white checker, and we had another wreck, and
It's like, did you forget the other 460 laps?
But I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, man, because, I mean, maybe that'll happen and save this race for the fans. That's who I'm worried about. I'm not worried about me. But it didn't happen.
Yeah, like to your point, if we had a green white checker, and even if it wasn't exciting, like it was just a green white checker, and they race their ass off, that whatever it is, what's it, 20-something%?
Yeah,
easily goes to 40.
Get skewed
quickly.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to return with Reaction Theater, brought to you by Consumer Cellular.
Now it's time for our favorite segment, Reaction Theater, where it's your turn to be heard. Reaction Theater is brought to you every week by Consumer Cellular.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as leading carriers, but with plans starting as low as $20 a month.
And now for a limited time, get their best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of free service. That's right, the same fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life do come in twos. See consumercellular.com for promotional details. Jay, let's go to the calls.
I'm going to tell you what, old boy, Kyle Larson won that damn race, and I love every single bit of it. I'm yelling loud and proud because you know why? Because I'm a Kyle Larson fan, and I don't care about what anybody else says on if it was a boring race or if it was not a good race and there was no passing or nothing. Kyle Larson had the best car. Cliff Daniels set up the best car for that team, and with the track, the way that it was set up, with the PJ1 and doing everything they had to do, they were still passing cars, lapping them down. He had the best car, and he was great, and he won. He kicked everyone's ass, and I love it. And I'm only yelling this loud because I hope that I'll make it to CBC. All right, love you all. Love you too, especially Brett.
I know that didn't feel good
I thought
in your
that
ears,
was.
Freddie.
I thought that
I
was.
think he was part of the 20% that voted yes. It was a good race.
And listen, credit to, I mean, Kyle did have the best car. He is probably the best, arguably, driver in the field.
World.
And credit to them guys. I saw him and Cliff out there signing autographs for a long time after the race was over. So credit to them guys. And them fans that line up, if you've ever been to Bristol, that rail that leads into the tunnel, them fans are crazy.
Yeah.
They're insane.
Oh, they are.
I left the
They know they
racetrack at 1 o'clock in the morning on Friday, and they were still lined up out there waiting for Dale. You know, like, and I know Dale probably stopped and signed for every one of them on the way.
I think they were
out.
waiting for you.
They were actually, but I told him, I said, "There's another guy in there. You might want his autograph too." So.
Hey, Brett, you big fat tub of I hope you like the taste of God's bro, you idiot, because Alex Bowman lost into the next round of the playoffs
before Kyle Larson, who led God 95% of race, Chase Elliott, and William Byron. You're a big fat ass. You. Don't ever say Alex Bowman should be replaced. Don't even hint it. You.
When did
Bye.
you say Alex Bowman should be replaced?
I must have missed that part of the show.
That's my favorite part of this. They're like, you guys all said he's out. I'm like, we never, ever, ever said he was out. We said he had to have a good playoff.
I said he better have a good playoff. And guess what he's done? He's had a good playoff. That guy sounded fatter than I do.
He did sound a little.
Hey, fun fact about that fella, he's called in every week since that Bowman thing that y'all talked about on the show.
Yeah.
What?
And
we know his name. We got his phone number. Can we go to his house?
no.
Let's call him back.
He is very persistent.
Hopefully.
Very
Let's
persistent.
Call him
call
back.
him back.
I got something for
Hey,
him.
bud.
Let's put him on a Zoom.
Yeah.
That was the Kyle Larson 500 at Bristol. Might as well rename the damn race that. Sitting here in my campground just outside the track. Don't really know if I watched a race or just an old-fashioned ass-whipping. Goodyear NASCAR needs kicked in the nuts. Because that track, nothing's wrong with that track. That track has been perfect for 50 years. They f***ed up with this car. They f***ed up with this tire.
God, Hung Money just teabagged the field. Wish Brad could have made it to the next round there, TJ. Get him next year.
Well, I don't know what y'all call that where y'all are from, but where I'm from,
Ass
we call
whooping.
that an ass.
I knew that was coming.
Was that you? Did
He
you
spoke
call-
redneck.
As soon as Kyle Larson wins, everybody in the comment section on social media starts crying about how boring the race is. Oh, it's so boring. These cars, this track, NASCAR putting it in twice a year. When you're getting your ass whooped that bad, it's going to be boring. I hope everybody keeps crying and Kyle Larson keeps winning. And, yeah, it should be a good rest of the playoffs.
Yeah. That guy, one guy was upset.
TJ, you're thinking something.
I just think how if all the races were like that, I have a feeling this guy would probably still call in and say the racing's great. And, you know,
I think if all the races were like that, you'd have to apply for a job at Geek Squad.
yeah,
You'd have to be an IT
be setting
guy.
up your TV.
TJ be professional gamer.
100%. Oh, you think he's that good?
I don't know what I would do. Probably.
He better be that good as much as he.
Just think if he had to fall back on something.
I would fall back.
I don't want to
on-
think about it because that means I got to fall back
Well,
on something.
then I look over here at you and I'm like, I don't know what you're going to fall back on either.
Don't look at me. I don't know either.
I'm going to go work at Spot On.
Well, we were already giving Karsyn before the show because I was like, Karsyn, have you ever had to have a resume, to get a job? And she's like, no.
I didn't say bullshit. I said no.
Then
She said yes.
Then she thinks about
She
it. And
said
she
yes.
brings
I said
up
I
this
did, and you
Bed
said you
Bath
didn't
and
believe
Beyond
me.
fulfillment job that
Listen.
required a resume. Are you kidding me?
Somebody had to get
pack a
those air
box?
fryers shipped out one way or another, and that was me.
Hey, you
People
did
think
it.
I've never had to
You
just
did
bum
it.
it a little. I have, okay? I was in the back of that Bed Bath & Beyond packing boxes.
Is that why they're going out of
sending
business?
people air fry. Probably.
How long did you work there?
I worked there for about a year when I was living in Indiana.
Was it an Emerald air fryer? Because I ordered one of those. You might have sent it to
I don't
me.
know.
I thought it was very ironic that Bed Bath Beyond was on the 4-card this week. Just a couple companies going out of business.
Well, that'll happen.
Man, these freaking fans are just ridiculous. It reminds me of something. When I was in the Marine Corps, my staff sergeant told us that he can get us hookers and cocaine and alcohol, and we'd still about it. One of the best races of the season. Yes, I know, my driver won still, but nonetheless, one of the best races of the season. Then the fans, man, these guys just need to grow up and watch a good race. Just ridiculous.
Two of those three sound good. I don't know which two of the
That's
three
the
I would
guy.
say it is. But
This is the guy we need to go to his house.
no, he needs to come to our house.
What is?
I saw him yesterday.
First of all, thank you for your service. Second of all, you're hanging out with the wrong people if they're complaining about that. Listen, man, I know you're probably a Larson fan. I get it. I would have checked yes too. If Dale Earnhardt won in 1991 when I was a sophomore in high school, I'd have voted, yeah, that was a good race. My man kicked your ass. But
all these people that say that have no context on why
Right.
it was good.
yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Their
Their
context
guy won.
is their driver won.
Other than that, I want to
Not
know why was it a
factual.
good race?
If the Bills win 70-0 next week,
It's a great game, Brett.
exactly. Even
Tonight.
though for
Hopefully that's
everybody
what
else that
happens.
watch it was boring and awful. That's why, and that's okay.
They'll never do that because they like to raise my blood pressure and they never.
They
do
play
that.
tonight, right?
Yeah.
Don't they play some team?
Yeah, they're 1-2 against them last 3 games.
Who is
so
it?
The Jaguars.
The what? What the did he say?
What is a Jaguar?
Jaguar.
Yeah, Jaguar. Is that a car? What is it? Yeah. Well, you get the point.
Oh, that's Brett's favorite quarterback.
It's Trevor Lawrence. He is one of
Yeah.
the best quarterbacks to ever play college football, and I hate him.
was going. I was waiting, man.
I hate him.
I hate
The guy
him.
wore orange.
I
What
thought
do
I
you-
hated Deshaun Watson, and I hate Trevor Lawrence way more.
It's okay because I hate Connor Shaw too, and he was
Yeah.
one of the best quarterbacks in
'cause
Carolina. ever.
we never
Yeah.
lost to Clemson.
No,
with
kicked
Connor
our
Shaw.
ass.
Yeah, I wish he'd come back and play for us again.
Is that the one? No, Garcia is the guy that.
Garcia's
yeah.
a partier. He started a podcast, by the way.
I saw that.
really?
But I'd say the guy that we saw.
I actually liked him.
He's my favorite all-time Gamecock player because he was an idiot, not because he was a great quarterback. He was a great quarterback.
he was a pizza gun, wasn't he?
He was the one that got caught drinking beer. So they played Saturday. On Sunday, he's 21, by the way. He just goes out in front of the dorms and just pulls out a bunch of chairs and coolers of beer, and they start drinking beer. And cops roll up, and they're like, hey, man, you can't sit out here and drink beer. And he's like, why not? I'm 21. And they're like, well, you're on campus. So they give him a ticket. One of 5 tickets I think he got. But Steven Garcia, if you're a college football fan,
Wasn't
that's
there a
bringing it
pizza
back.
story about him.
Oh, no, that was Andrew Clifford, my old buddy. Yeah. Might have had a couple cocktails at 5 Points. I might have wrecked a scooter, and then they asked Steve Spurrier about it. Hey, your quarterback wrecked a scooter. He's like, yeah, it's really hard to go pick up a pizza and drive that scooter home with a pizza in one hand and try and drive that scooter with the other, which I thought was very clever.
That was good. Good answer.
Yeah.
Well, now that the fat lady's song died and fell off the stage and we buried her, man, that was a stressful race to watch. I've watched a lot of races where Dale Jr. is flying, doing all the good things, and then happens. When the first stage ended, I thought we were done. Well, obviously we weren't done. I finished an entire 8-pack watching this race of freaking
8-pack.
Budweiser. As you can probably tell by how I'm talking right now. Someone sponsor this guy for next year. Let's put a fan car together. That's, I think, the best idea I've had in at least a few minutes. Okay, Junior Nation, this is when we all have to assemble. Now we all got to dust off the walkers, get everyone moving around again. There's a few of us still left out here. We haven't died yet. Come on, let's do this. Let's get Junior right for next year. Brett's probably going like, this guy is the biggest idiot in the history of mankind. But Brett says that about a lot of people. So I don't know. I'm too drunk anyway.
Brett's not even
Water's
listening.
wet.
I am
This
listening.
sounds like-
I don't understand why Dale Jr. is already committed to not committing to running a car next year.
Committed
I
Because
to
think
he's-
not
that's
committing.
BS.
I mean, I'm committing to not committing, but I might run one again in 26. Like, dude, it's one race. It ain't like you got to work hard to get ready for one race.
Right.
You got to go get ready for TV. Well, you already did TV. You know how to do TV. You don't have to practice that much, do you? Like, I think it's great he comes back into Mayo Missile every year, even if he can't hear good in it.
I think we stopped calling it that.
That's the
I
worst.
think you got to
That's
come
the
back.
Worst name.
I just don't know
in
why
the
he wouldn't
world.
come back and do that race again. Like, it was awesome. It was a big crowd. It's good for the sport. I mean, I don't know why you'd want to take a year off. TJ knows why. He ain't gonna tell us, but that's all right.
Yeah, I probably don't even know. Why don't you enlighten us, TJ?
If
doesn't
I'm
want-
somebody, I would be going to him soon because right now he's probably pretty
Vulnerable.
Happy about it. Yeah, he's probably pretty excited about it and happy about it. So, there's certain times to go and talk to him, and he's in a much better mood. And now would be one of them times.
Carson?
I always check to see what kind of mood he's in if I'm going to ask him something. I was just going to say, actually, I changed my stance on this. I don't want him to run any more Xfinity races. I think that should open him up for more Cars Tour races.
I honestly think that
Bring Hellmans to the Cars Tour races.
I think that might play a factor into why he doesn't want to run an Xfinity race next year because he's having more fun running the Cars Tour races.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, when he come on the radio and said, "This is fun as hell," I think if he goes in the race,
He was talking about not being able to hear you when he said that.
He actually said when he couldn't hear me, he said he actually missed me. So
He was
I'm
lying.
going to have to fact check that.
Yeah, he didn't
that was
say-
on.
That's
That was
not
on
what
the
he
radio.
said after
Call
the
him
race.
right now.
That was on the radio. So I think that being competitive makes a big difference. He goes and he's competitive. If he goes and runs 25th legit, he's probably not going to want to come.
By the way, we got to talk to Dale about something. Don't tell on yourself. Technically,
yeah,
it is illegal.
Technically, he should have been parked.
It is illegal to run around there without a spotter. And he goes out and tweets or says something about, I couldn't hear you the whole first stage. And I'm like, don't say that.
I was sitting there waiting for it the entire time. Well, and the next time is like, we come down pit road, and I was like,
if Kaz Growler says that this week, guess what they're going to do?
Bark him.
well, yeah, but this has also happened twice in the last couple years to somebody, and they didn't get black flagged either. So
TJ was looking it up. TJ was looking up precedents while wasn't working.
Nah.
He's like, has anybody else not been black flagged for this?
Like, get ready to put my stuff away here.
He's looking at those fallback options.
We also
aren't
sped. We also sped on pit road. I'm like, well, you sped the first time. You might as well just speed this time too. So go ahead. And yeah, you're gonna be at the tail end anyway.
All right, next.
All right. Reaction Theater on Pit Road, Freddie. You, Brett. All right. Yeah, down. Brett. Okay. Grabbing beers at Bristol. Looks like 2 hours after the race. We're still drinking. Cheers.
This was. That was all of us on pit road. That was really we were just fact checking Jay, make sure he listens to all the calls. I said, if he doesn't find that one, we're gonna know he didn't listen.
I screen them all, man. I screen every single one. It takes me all afternoon, but I do it.
Can't you get a volunteer to do that?
Make Evan do it.
I mean, or we could get us an intern. Get us a DBC intern.
I have an intern that you can have.
You get paid by the hour. How are you on salary?
Oh, I'm salary.
Oh, well, you don't.
Yeah.
Blake knows.
I was going to try to help you out.
No, that's okay. I don't work Friday, so it's a trade off.
By the way, I couldn't understand a word anybody said in there.
Hey, I just made a monumental discovery. I think I figured out why TJ smacks his lips so much. I was watching the post-race interview with Brad, and Brad's over here making all sorts of weird-ass faces, licking his lips and I don't know what the hell he was doing. TJ must have picked that up off of him. If TJ makes weird faces and licks his lips, that's where he got it from. I'm just taking a guess.
Yeah.
Is he saying you kissed Brad? I don't get it.
I don't know what he means either. But
Picking up each other's mannerisms.
You lick Brad's lips? That's weird.
That happens when you hang out with somebody for a while. You
Just start
pick up their mannerisms.
Oh,
I
thought you.
No, not licking their lips. No.
Have you been hanging out with?
I got a lot of questions right now.
No. I mean, like you pick up on people's mannerisms.
Right. You should have started with that.
I did.
No, you did not.
You guys were just talking, so you didn't hear me.
That's not what I heard.
All right, whatever. Moving on.
Winner, chicken dinner. Hamlin didn't think he was going to do it, but he did. That's how we do her. This is the third time I've called, and I forgot 3 times what I was going to say, but hell yeah, Denny Hamlin, let's go. Maybe you won't be such a bore on your podcast the next 3 weeks because you're behind. Let's go.
What? Oh, I guess he's just talking about him transferring.
Yeah.
I'm just glad Denny's dog got a 1 week reprieve. He was getting ready to ship the dog on out of there. And listen, this eliminates all the talk about wherever the hell it was he ran around the back, Atlanta.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter anymore. Now he's moving ahead.
You know, I've heard you guys talk a lot about the what an idiot of the year, a door bumper clear, what an idiot Hall of Fame. I think we could just go right ahead and name it the Martin Truex Jr. speeding on pit road on a cutoff race, eliminating himself. What an idiot of the Millennium Award. Just make that the name of the Hall of Fame for DBC or whatever. Make a plaque, hang the banner.
Here's the good news for Martin, and I'm actually excited.
It's only 7 more.
Yeah, I'm actually excited. I'm excited for him for what I'm about to say. If you and listen, I know he wanted this. I know his team wanted this. I know his fans wanted this. But if you retire after a year where you've made a playoff run, man, it's going to be a whirlwind and loaded with pressure. Like right now, I mean, Bubba Wallace probably had more fun at Bristol than he's had maybe all year because you didn't go into that race with all that pressure. You could play loose. You could have fun. And I'm glad for Martin's sake that he doesn't have all that pressure the rest of the year. Look, do I want to see him in the playoff 100%? I actually picked him in my DBC picks last week. He let me down. I'm not going to hold it against him. But
I'm glad.
But
I'm sure he was really worried.
I truly feel like he can enjoy riding off into the sunset by not having this playoff pressure hanging over him, especially with how poorly they've executed over the past couple months.
Yeah.
I bet he goes out and wins a race.
That's all we got for Reaction Theater. To leave an audio message 24/7, call our number 704-802-9572, and we'll play the best ones each week on the show.
Consumer Cellular is the official wireless partner of Brad Keselowski, RFK Racing, and the 6 Car. If they can count on Consumer Cellular, you can too.
Brad Keselowski and RFK Racing know speed, and that's just what you get with Consumer Cellular.
Have you seen Brad's Consumer Cellular convertible? A symbol of savings, you might say. That thing is awesome.
Consumer Cellular has award-winning 100% U.S.-based customer service center, so you can always get the help you need. It's like having your pit crew right there when you need them.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as leading carriers, but with plans starting as low as $20 a month.
There are no activation fees and no contracts. Consumer Cellular customers stay because they want to, not because they have to. They don't need to trap their customers.
You can even try Consumer Cellular for 30 days risk-free. If you don't love it, cancel it, but they bet you'll love it. And now, for a limited time, get their best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. See ConsumerCellular.com for promotional details.
All right, we are back with another live Ask DBC. We're going to try not to get you fellas canceled this week, if at all possible. You can send in your questions on X each week using hashtag AskDBC, and we will answer the best ones. We're going to get going. Rob Stack asks, the old lug nuts were small and ended up all over pit road, but this new center lug is big. How come it's not a penalty for equipment leaving the pit box when one gets away like the 14 in stage 3?
We're comparing nut sizes now?
Keep it together. Keep it together.
Oh, we're live.
Nuts jokes.
I don't know.
I'm so glad this is my last
I don't
show.
know why it would be a penalty. It's not.
It might be ours too.
Whose idea was this?
How do you control a nut getting away though? Seriously, like 5 lug nuts, bam, 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 bam.
And they
the
fly
driver takes off,
everywhere.
they fly everywhere. If you hit one lug nut,
so I don't
is
even
it even
know.
called a lug nut?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, there's only one, so
Yeah.
single lug nut.
Yeah, it's not nuts. It's one nut.
Okay.
But did this happen? I don't understand. Like, did the 14 lose a lug? Because I feel like
I
it's
guess
pretty
so.
important.
Did this
I
happen?
guess so.
Did this
When-
happen?
in the single lug era, I feel like the lug nut's pretty important. Like if it
Well, the
went
crew-
away,
the changer still carries an
I
extra,
know.
so yeah. Apparently it happened. I don't know.
there wouldn't be a removing.
It didn't slow him down much. So
The best removing equipment penalty of the week had to go to Justin Allgaier for dragging his sawzall halfway around the racetrack.
yeah, sooner and it stayed on the track.
Bless
it still
his
worked.
heart.
This guy can't catch a break.
Wow.
Like, I don't.
I mean, he is flying. He clearly is the best car in the field, best driver in the field, and what a tough break.
I saw. I was walking into the.
I didn't know you could race with no TV panel.
I guess at short tracks
he came.
Oh,
yeah. I thought the same thing. I thought he was done. Like I was like, unless they go in and like barrel bound to back on, I thought he was done. But at short tracks,
I told people
short
with me
tracks
he
you
was
can run
done, and then he wasn't done. I looked like an idiot.
well, that wasn't the first time.
No.
Won't be the last.
Probably an accurate statement.
What else you got?
All right. Brendan asks, how concerning should it be that Daniel said he was holding back Ty Gibbs, that air blocking is a thing even at short tracks? How can you make this car not have such tight margins and actually fall off? We've talked about that.
I don't. I wish I had the answer to that. But yeah, Ty. So Ty, obviously, I think he sped early in the race, and the last run, I noticed him. I saw him coming. He was hauling ass at the beginning of that last green flag run. But he must have either overheated his tires or just wore them out because, like, by the time he got to us, he couldn't really get around us. Then we cut through lap traffic, and he couldn't. Like, he kind of got stuck, and we put a straightaway or more on him at that point. So it was once you overheat your tires, you're kind of stuck where you're at, and so you try to cool them down and go again. But yeah, aero blocking at a short track should not be a thing, but unfortunately, it is.
This next one's got a lot of numbers in it. It's a tad confusing.
I can't read it.
After you scarred me last week when I read a whole question and you didn't listen to a word I said, and so
I'm sorry.
now I just
I'm sorry.
That's what men do to women. We don't listen.
All right. Why was the 19 allowed to pass the 12 going to the pits after the caution came out towards the end of stage 2? The 12 was well in front of him before the caution came out.
Karsyn, there's 4 numbers in
What'd
this
you say?
question. Like, what?
See, exactly.
What were you worried about? What'd you say? No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Can you read it again?
I was actually read this question earlier, but I was not listening. I assume that the 12 was not well in front of him, and they told him to go. But they told 19 to pass him. That's the only thing that makes any sense. I don't know. I didn't see this, but I sometimes it looks, and it happens to us a lot. You think you're well ahead of somebody before the caution comes out, and the lineup comes out, and you are not.
Well, you are
them.
ahead of them, but the scoring loop says differently.
Yeah. You go back to a different loop, and
TJ used to make fun of me on here, and then when it happened to him,
Oh, I still do.
He'd come down here running at me, going, "Oh, I was in front of you." I was like, "Oh no, no, no!"
Well,
no.
a couple weeks ago,
I know.
when that sign fell on the racetrack, he's like, "I don't care.
whatever.
I don't care."
Yeah.
Them green white checkers at Watkins Glen was yellow coming out late. Oh, he cared all of a sudden. Now he doesn't want any cautions at the end.
I
of the
didn't care. Only thing I cared about is fuel.
Yeah.
Who we got? We got any questions from the chat?
We got a couple
How many
rolling
people are
in.
here?
Ooh.
$2 million.
Is it
260?
Is it 3 million?
260?
260 million? That seems like a lot.
260 million people.
That's almost all of America.
That's
tuned in
almost
to watch.
well. We got international listeners.
Yeah.
So that's multi-country.
All right.
Mostly Europe.
Ben Merrifield says, "Hey guys, traveling to Denver from the UK later this week.
Denver.
Are there any good tracks races to check out over the next 2 weeks?
Denver, North
in this
Carolina?
area?" Yeah, Denver, North Carolina. So like in the next 2 weeks.
Is he really coming to Denver, North Carolina?
Wait, I don't know. I would assume
I'm
so.
assuming
It
it's
doesn't
no.
say.
It's Colorado.
Why
You don't-
Colorado?
You're not
No,
going
why
from
would it
the
not be?
UK.
Why would they be asking you guys where to go in Denver, Colorado,
Because
instead
we're
of here?
We're experts in Denver, Colorado.
There's no way this guy's going to Denver, North Carolina.
But if he is,
you can go to Millbrae.
there's some good racetracks. There's still that dirt track out there near Denver, North Carolina, too. The one that Ray Abraham bought at one point. I don't remember the name of it.
I think you made it up.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I'm going to look it up here in a second while y'all talk about something else.
Denver,
Denver, Colorado, I don't know a lot about the racing out there. I do drive from Denver to Loveland, Colorado, and I see a paved weekly racing series on the right going north to Loveland. So you may want to check that out.
I
Pikes
need
Peak
this guy to
used to be
comment
out-
back and see which Denver he's talking
Pikes
about.
Peak
'cause
used
now
to be
I'm
out there,
pissed.
right?
Pikes Peak
Because I think
closed.
that's where like Corelli used to race a little bit.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of short tracks out there. I'm just not very familiar
I don't
with
know.
them.
I couldn't tell you. Where's he coming from?
UK.
The UK.
See, international listeners. I told
Yeah.
you.
I always say Denver's I mean, it's obviously a very
Go to Big Daddy's. It's on the
pretty
way to
area.
Denver.
Yeah.
I've had enough.
East Lincoln Speedway. Go yourself, all you. I told you there was a racetrack out there.
It might not matter because we still don't know which Denver.
We don't know what Denver he's going to.
Either way, I hope he has fun. All
Enjoy
right.
yourself.
All right, West Vintage asks, when spotting, do you ever get distracted by anything? And if so, what's the most common distraction?
When Freddie had a praying mantis crawl down his shirt.
Nah, that was distracting, and it wasn't even me when that
Freddie
happened.
was breakdancing and doing moves that I didn't think he could do, and then he started taking his shirt off, and here I am trying to spot at Bristol, and there's all these bugs
It was
flying around.
Charlotte.
And I would say probably the biggest distraction I personally.
That's a pretty big distraction.
It was. Yeah,
Is that a fat joke?
It might be.
275 pounds.
Hey,
worth. So,
you can't cuss.
Oh, you can't cuss on this one.
so
Apologies.
the other.
Beep that out.
We're what do you mean
live.
we can't cuss?
We're
I said F word a minute ago.
Such a show.
Jesus.
You can't say that either.
Let's get back to business here. The most distracted I've ever been during a race.
That wasn't it?
I think TJ was standing beside of me, and it was sleeting in our face.
Oh, that was Bristol.
That was Bristol.
And
I was standing on the other side of you.
tough to concentrate. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we
You
were
hear it
getting
hitting
beat
your
in the
binoculars
face with
and-
sleet. It's like you were on a motorcycle running 30 miles an hour, and it was raining, and you don't have sunglasses on. Like, it was tough. But
And we were hung over that day. Boy.
were we?
That was 100% day.
Oh, well, yeah. So, yeah, I ain't going there.
You know what I think the biggest distractions used to be? And you'll think about this when I tell you is when we would run Daytona in July, and the whole night there's fireworks going off out on the beach, like during the race, like at any point. It's like surrounded, like all the way up the beach too. So
Clint was tweeting on Saturday night, and people started tagging me going, do you think Clint's drinking? I'm like, 100% he's drinking. So Clint texted me yesterday, what makes you think I was drinking? I said, oh, A, you weren't working. B, it's a Saturday night. And C, I know how you tweet when you're drinking versus when you don't. And I think he admitted
You should
had
have
a couple.
seen your boy, Clint's boy, Rusty Rush, Saturday, walking around in cowboy hat and shorts. I've never seen anybody in a cowboy hat and shorts before in my life. And that
Rusty Rush.
That guy is a trip.
We got another traveling question, but
Where are they going,
I don't dare
Cornelius?
say where I might think.
Where
This
were
one's a
they
little
headed?
easier. All right, driving down from, is Emma in Minnesota?
yes.
Okay. Before you
Where?
guys, is that Minnesota?
That's
Okay.
Rusty Rush.
Just so I get that out of the way.
Oh
All
my
right, driving
gosh.
down from Minnesota to the race this weekend. It will be my 6-year-old son and myself. We're going to camp in a tent for our first NASCAR oval race. What are some spots to check out?
That's awesome. That's going to be the most fun that kid's ever had, man. Like, I fell in love with racing at 4 and 5 years old, doing exactly that, going to the racetrack, camping in a tent. And there's a lot of fun people to meet around the racetrack. You know, I always said you can go camping at a racetrack and leave everything out that you own and count your beers before you go to bed. And the next day when you wake up, it's all still going to be there. Honest, hardworking folks at the racetrack. But the good news for Kansas is there's a tons of stuff. There's a Dave & Buster's right there by the racetrack. They can go play video games, let them get something to eat. Like you're in a really fun area to take somebody to their first race.
The biggest furniture store that you'll probably ever see your entire life is right there.
Eddie DeHaant's a big fan of that one. He bought a couple beds from there, and I think he ended up on his 10th bed. It finally wasn't damaged.
Honestly, I would just go to Hooters and wait for you two to show up. Maybe Jason Schultz.
Not with
or
a
Tyler
6-year-old.
Why not? Can't go to Hooters with a 6-year-old?
I'm saying
You don't go
not
for the
to
wings?
hang out with you two.
So I took
I meant to hang out with
We'll
you
need
two.
him to drive us home.
My nephew was probably about 8 or 9 years old the first time I took him to Hooters. And we get there, and we've ordered our food, and we're hanging out.
This is Troy.
And this is Troy, yeah. And I look at him, and I say, Troy, man, how you like this place? And I'm thinking he's going to associate this place with what's going on in the environment. He goes, I don't know. I haven't got my food yet.
Poor guy missed the whole point of going to Hooters.
What perspective? A 10-year-old versus my
That makes sense for Troy.
It does make sense.
I'd still like to punch him in the face.
All right. Who was the biggest shock in making the round of 12, and who could make the round of 8, in your opinion?
The biggest surprise for me is probably
Cindric.
Suarez.
I'd say
Cindric with the races that were there, which Suarez won Atlanta, but all the plate races, Cindric's up front, so it didn't surprise me that he banked a bunch of stage points there and then ran well at Watkins Glen. I didn't think Suarez was going to get out of the first round, and I said to Doug yesterday, I was with Doug Campbell, who spots for Cindric, and I said, you got to be happy that the guys that got eliminated. You know, you if you're picking who you want to race against, you'd rather race against Daniel Suarez than 2 Gibbs cars, 1,000%. So,
big time.
So that was, but I think Suarez and Cindric are probably about
Briscoe
level.
for me.
Really?
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say.
because the team's going out of business. I mean, essentially, I know the Haas factory team is going to stick around, but there's a lot up against that guy for him to come through in that round. Very impressive.
He's had a lot of speed.
He was flying yesterday.
Yeah, he was fast yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. Is Bristol with one groove better than Bristol with multiple grooves?
Old Bristol.
Old Bristol. Give me locked on the bottom, knocking each other out of the way. But the problem is we can't do that right now. Like, locked on the bottom, you can't move the guy. So, if we can ever get back to just running the bottom where we can rattle each other's cages a little bit, that would be my ideal scenario.
But why can't you tear it up and make it like Old Bristol?
I mean, you could. I would imagine money would be a major factor. Plus, Dale drank him out of beer on Friday night, so now they got to
recoup from that loss. TJ, after the first stage of the Xfinity race, did you get a paycheck cut? The people are dying to know.
I
What
haven't
kind
got a gift card
I was
yet.
going to say, what gift card did you get this time?
Yeah, I don't. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see on the payment methods here. There's ways to handle this from here on out. So, and I know where he lives, so we'll get paid one way or another.
So I think they're thinking your pay should get cut because you didn't only spotted 2 stages.
Well, I think he thinks I'm doing it for free anyway, so I can't cut something that you don't get.
He'll double it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Somebody wants to know if I'm racing next year. Not sure.
Yeah, you're racing.
If my dad gets
Have you
together.
started talking to your dad yet? I mean, after the last fiasco?
Oh, yeah, we're good.
We've brought it up every single week on here. He's got to get the point by now, right?
Well, I'm sure he probably doesn't listen.
I'm sure he
so.
listens every week. I'm sure he's
Yeah,
a diehard DBC
he probably
fan.
loves listening to this.
Elliot wanted to know, has there been any progress on the Goat on Fire album that Brett started working on months ago? How's that going?
Goats on Fire.
Also, your pink hat is very cute, according to the people in the chat.
Thank you.
Is it October? Not yet.
How's that song go again?
We can have a heavy metal song, Goat on Fire.
Goats on Fire.
We can have a country song, and we can have a rap. And the 4 of us can make this album.
Has anybody ever seen
How
Brett?
did I get roped out?
Has anybody ever?
You got a good voice. Can you sing?
You just said she has a good voice, and then you ask her if she can sing.
Well, that don't mean you can sing. I have a great voice. I can't sing.
Dude, I want you to do the heavy metal part again real quick. How's
I
that?
can't. It's too hot in here. I'll pass out.
it's not.
I can't rage in here today, TJ. I'm telling you, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Brett, one day I think we were in the Wild Beaver, and Brett's on stage. It's karaoke bar, and Brett is on stage.
That place is fun.
Beatboxing. I'm not sober, and I'm like, what the hell is going on up there?
I grew up listening to Run DMC.
You want to show us how you clog?
I can't clog today either. It's too hot in here.
Moonwalk? Can I get a moonwalk out of you?
I can moonwalk sideways on this floor. I can't do it backwards. It's too grippy.
Grippy. What else we got?
Someone wants to know which F1 track would be the best for NASCAR to race on, not counting COTA.
Bristol.
Monaco.
Wait, say that again?
The best F1 track.
Well, you know how much
NASCAR.
stuff we would wreck at Monaco?
Oh, I thought they said what F1 tracks. What NASCAR track should F1 race on? What track should we race on? I don't know. What country you want to go to? They go to some crazy countries.
Yeah.
Remember that one time they were racing somewhere and they were getting bombed.
What?
Yes, that I don't remember where the hell that was, but I remember there was
And then the country said y'all are not leaving until you race, and it's like, what?
I forget where the hell that was.
It was like 2 years ago because I remember texting with Jenna Fryer about it. I was like, please tell me this isn't real. She's like, yeah, no, it's real. They're not letting them leave until they race, even though they're getting attacked.
You could see like in the background of the race, there was stuff on fire. I'm doing everything I can not to curse on this deal.
This is difficult. It's so difficult. It's like my first language.
If you hear me say stuff, that is not what I want to say.
Like, I don't think we want to go to Monaco. I think it's too expensive.
I was
going to take your boat.
My pontoon boat. We're going to ship my
park it next to those yachts.
Yeah, I know whose boat we're not going to take.
Yeah, my pontoon boat will go great.
I think any street course, really. I mean, I know Dubai. There's another one that's a street course. I can't think of the name of it, but it's got to have, something with some walls, similar to Chicago, where there's some punishment. All the other tracks they go to, man, they're such big runoffs, and every time we have big runoffs, we don't. Formula One has. I don't want to say the word
track limits.
Yes, and we don't. So we will just run.
No,
wherever.
we do sometimes.
Well, sometimes we just run wherever there's asphalt or pavement. And
where's Bahrain at? Is that in a cool country?
About what?
Or is that the country?
Is that
it's
two
probably
words
in
or
Bahrain.
one?
Bahrain?
Yeah, it's not a town.
Is it its own country?
No, it's the country.
It's McBee.
I mean, that sounds cool.
So you guys wanted to on me for some geography earlier.
I mean,
I can't
Bahrain
say
sounds
that.
cool.
Shh, watch your language.
Your mom's going to get you.
This is so bad.
The swear jar is getting filled up today.
We thank God we don't have one of those.
All right, we actually do have a kind of serious question.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
after qualifying, the teams have to select a pit box. Is there any certain time frame that they have to have their picks in by, or how does that process work?
So after when they do there's this time on the schedule that they give, and all the crew chiefs have to go, or somebody has to go and for pit selection when it comes to your time. Where the dedicated person there to pick your pit stall is, they check them off as they're getting picked, and that's how you select them. And it's kind of like a draft.
Yeah, it's like a draft.
Nice. Brett, people want to know if your hat matches your underwear today.
What underwear?
Wow.
That is disturbing.
Wow.
It's just what's going on.
The best.
I mean,
I've got
You
a
asked
great.
what's going on in the chat. That's what's happening in the
I
chat.
have a great Brett underwear story.
Should we just show them?
No, God no.
If we can't cuss,
That
we
is
surely
live.
can't do that.
We were in, where the hell were we stuck? Texas for a week when you went and bought those underwear and they were small.
Texas.
We had to go buy clothes.
I ran out of drawers.
And we ran out of clean clothes. So we were in like the Nike outlet or something. And Brett goes and bought like socks and underwear and stuff. And then like an hour later, he sends me a picture. He bought like little boys underwear.
It was awful. And they were like $20.
I was dying.
Were they on?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't get
It was
them
a
all.
selfie. He was like, the pose. Look back
Wait,
at it.
how did that go again? How did that go?
Look back at it. Oh.
Rob wants to know, out of the three of you at the table, who could drink the most beers in one night.
Freddie.
That wasn't right. I mean,
100% Freddie. Yeah, he don't go to bed. So, I mean, yeah.
last night we went out yesterday and we left. We went and had brunch at like, I don't know, 11 o'clock. And Meg was grabbing a sweatshirt. And I'm like, it's 90 degrees outside. What are you doing with a sweatshirt? And she's like, it's going to be like 70 at midnight. And I'm like, midnight? I'm like, I don't know if I got it in me. Like, you got lofty goals for this evening. And I think we made it. I think we were out till I don't even know what the hell.
Whole day.
I don't know what the hell time I got home last night, but it was
when you get started
late.
with brunch and mimosas, you don't know what direction the day's going
That
to take.
is-
I'll tell you what I found.
Meg was right there.
I'll tell you what I found yesterday was high noon pineapple.
Yeah.
High noons are awesome.
Meg likes those.
That's
I like
where
the
it's
peach
at.
the best.
Really? I almost got the
I'll
peach.
tell you who you
Peach is
never.
the best.
Let me tell you a story. Who you never ever want to drink mimosas with?
Who?
Brett Griffin.
I'm bad.
I don't know.
I want to drink
I
mimosas
don't know
with you
what
guys now.
happens to Brett Griffin when he drinks champagne, but it is not good.
We had that episode earlier in the year. Remember, you drank the whole bottle of champagne. Evan cut together the mimosa video. It was one of our best videos of the year. You went through like
I don't know. First of all, I'm a fast drinker.
Wait, y'all had mimosas on here?
he was remote. He was at home, I think, or you were in Myrtle
Yeah,
Beach.
yeah.
You were in Myrtle Beach, weren't you?
Yeah, I
and
did.
you were literally sipping it, and you got so red faced by the end of the show.
We
It
were in
was
Hilton Head.
no,
we were at Tybee Island.
We were at Tybee.
Yeah.
And we drank a lot of mimosas. Really just a lot of champagne. I don't think we had any orange juice.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to my friend Brett, but it wasn't good. Like the best part is
I'll
get
tell you what I
back.
did when we came. First of all, I tell Freddie, I'm like, look, man, just put me on the golf cart. Just ride me around for like I said, ride me around for like an hour. Like I can't go home like this. And he's like, man, an hour ain't gonna help you. And I'm like, dude, I just need a minute. So he rides me around like 7 minutes. Well, everybody goes home but me and Freddie. So guess who they call? Freddie. Where y'all at? Why ain't y'all come back? So now Freddie's roped into having to come back. So I just get up and I go straight to the bathtub and I just lock the door and I just turn the water on. And I just laid in the bathtub like I was in a casket for hours.
The funniest part was my brother was with us, and like our wives are upstairs, and there's a group of people with us, and John was with us. So we get back, we drop John off on the golf cart, and Brett's like, I can't go up there. We got to drive around. So we leave, and my brother just goes up, and they're like, John, where are the other two? And he just walks to the kitchen, grabs something, he does not answer anybody, and leaves. And they're like, John, where? Nope, he's just out. Like he's not telling anybody nothing. And we rode around, but it was, and then it happened again with
There was a stupid beach game you had.
Bocce ball.
Yeah, that game.
Hey.
Between that
Can't
game
say
and
that.
mimosas.
You can't say that. We're live.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, but yeah, but Brett and champagne, not a good mix. I think it happened in Myrtle Beach again too. Some other time.
Noted. Tyler wants to know, should we expect the tire debate to carry over till next season, or does the offseason give Goodyear enough time to resolve?
What's the debate? Who are they debating against?
Yeah, there's a debate.
I don't know.
Who are they debating with?
I wish I knew the answer to that question. Yeah, I don't know. There's promising tires at that tire test we did, but I don't know if they'll use them if they have time to produce them. Or
Goodyear has a monopoly on what they bring. I mean, they own the tire rights, and we race what they bring. So I don't know who they would debate against.
Fair.
I'm sure they can take input from teams, NASCAR, maybe TV, but
Well, now that you've got the same track twice in a season and you've got two totally different outcomes with the same tire, I think now you can dissect it more and probably go in and collect a lot of data and see what you can do differently.
you sound really intelligent.
I
right there.
don't know what
Well,
happened.
I have someone asked you after the conversation you two were
it's
having
like
on
that.
here.
Was that what movie was that? When he's like, I just blacked out. What did I say? Is that like old school or something?
That was you two for the last 5 minutes here between draws and mimosas. I mean,
Mimosas? Do you
Yes.
drink mimosas while you watch the Jaguars?
Jaguars.
The Jaguars.
Jaguars?
Jaguars play tonight.
Mimosa.
Check FanDuel.
Oh goodness.
All right, let's do a couple more, Karsyn. You got any?
I'm being fed my information.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Suarez and Keselowski had no speed Saturday night. Is this due to expecting a lot of tire wear and having the car set up for that?
Absolutely. I think you go there expecting, to wear the right fronts. If you're going back with the same tire, I think it was a huge factor in it. I think people probably took a lot of camber and stuff out to try to save the wear on the right front and hurt. So I do think that probably played a big factor in it.
All right, we got one more question here.
One more.
That's
Uno más, por favor. You know how many times I've said that at a Mexican restaurant? Want another Corona Light?
How do you say one more of my check in Spanish?
I have no idea.
Robert wants to know, with the driver swap between Justin and Corey, how does it work with sponsors? Do they stay with the team or do they stay with the drivers?
Depends
Stay
on
with the team for this
Yeah.
year contractually. And, I think that I don't want to dive into – I mean, there was a tweet put out that said there was a lawsuit filed against Rick Ware Racing and it was dropped. So I think that is tied to sponsorship scenarios. But the team's on the sponsorship rights, at least for this year. And then next year, I wouldn't be surprised to see, some of Justin's go with him and vice versa for Corey's.
I agree. Again.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and the podcast will be dropping later this evening.
We're doing a parade wave.
Oh, we're doing a parade wave?
Yeah.
Everybody say, before you all leave
Were
the
you
chat.
ever a beauty pageant winner?
No, I almost did.
Before everybody leaves the chat, say goodbye to Karsyn.
Forever.
We miss you forever. You never coming back.
She
Never
gone.
coming
This is Carson's last show with us for a while. We will miss you.
Maybe I can just talk Mike into giving me my own.
Yep, that's my.
I lobbied for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Did you get enough?
Good thing or bad thing?
Did you get enough birthday wishes the other day? I wanted to make
Holy
sure.
cow, yeah, I did.
I want to
Yeah,
make sure
I
you
did.
enjoyed your birthday.
Was scrolling for days.
I mean, we had Karsyn on here the first time, TJ, when she was a kid.
I know. That was so long ago.
It was.
Well,
10 years ago, 8 years ago.
I had to be right.
You guys have been doing this long?
I don't think so.
Damn.
Yeah, we're old.
Well, thank you for everything, Karsyn.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
You will be our super sub whenever we need you.
Love it.
Thanks for all the questions, fans. That was fun.
Yeah.
Let's keep it rolling.
See you soon.
See ya.
My favorite part. Here we go. What an idiot. Who's itching to talk
You-
about idiots?
You might have vaulted close to the top of the list
Shut
with
up.
that licking
What did she
lips
do?
comment. Like that. Talk about licking each other's
You hang
lips.
out with
Once you
somebody
hang
that
out with
much,
somebody, you
yeah.
start licking their lips.
No. Whatever.
I got to go to more parties with you. I don't know what the you've been up to lately. Do you have one idiot? I don't have one idiot.
Mine is
I don't
1,
wanna
2,
mix-
3.
I don't want to
All
mix
of
up
you.
your what you got going here, Freddie. Keep going.
I don't have an idiot this week. I just have to give a shout out to the most miserable human being in the state of Tennessee on Saturday night. And that was easily Josh Bilicki. Like that poor guy, we passed him every 3 laps.
Oh my God, yeah.
Everybody was craving Arby's.
What a marketing genius they must have turned out to be. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
that
actually,
thing-
the opposite of an idiot is Arby's because they got their screen time.
I told Bob on the way home, I was like, I'm going to say 66 on my sleep tonight because it felt like every 3 laps we were passing him. Like it was like slow top 66, slow top 66. But to his credit, he was never in the way for us anyway. I saw a couple guys get stacked up behind him one time. I think Jones and Suarez got into it, kind of getting boxed in. But if you got boxed in behind him, it was your own fault because he didn't move. He was there in the same spot all night long. And to his credit, that's what we want. That's what you expect as a spotter. Like if I don't care how slow you are, as long as you're in the same place and we know where to avoid you, that's all we can ask for it. But there's nobody in the world that could have been more miserable than that guy Saturday night, just out there in the way.
I didn't even think about that. That was
My what an idiot is usually a joke, but this week it's not.
Uh-oh.
I literally mean this guy's an idiot. We played 12U baseball yesterday. Colt McKinney, whose dad is Ryan McKinney. Mom is Allison McKinney. They both work in the sport. And Colt McKinney, at 12 years old, hit his very first home run. Dead center field, 225 feet. Absolute bomb. 2-run shot. Crosses first, crosses second, crosses third, hits home plate. All the boys do a big celebration. And it's deemed a home run. And then out walks some little short, fat coach from the other team. And he walks out there complaining to the refs that he didn't step on third. Now, the umpire, mind you, didn't see it. They don't know whether he did or not. But this dude come out here trying to ruin this 12-year-old's moment. And it just so happened to be the organization that Colt played on last year. Not the same team, but the same organization. And my idiot is not just because this guy is an idiot. It's adults control whether or not youth sports are great for the youth. And that was a poor decision, piss poor decision by that man. So he wins my what an idiot. I may tweet the video later. It's like 40 seconds. You guys are going to love watching it because there's so much joy. And then this one little short dude comes out here trying to ruin it. Like we beat the out of you anyway. This run wasn't going to matter or not matter, which they did call Colt out, even though they didn't have evidence he didn't step on third. I don't think the umpire liked the celebration. I'm sure my kid had something to do with the celebration. But nonetheless, he's my what an idiot.
I don't know. It's hard not to give. I don't want. Duggar doesn't get him a lot of chances to win him, so we should give one to Duggar for once.
I should tweet this video. I can't.
Oh, you
can. I want to see it when we're done.
I just want to see it.
I can show you.
I want to see it when we're done.
Like
it's special. It's definitely special.
He's not going to be happy if you tweet it. Which means you should.
The
tweet
best
it.
part is he's coming down the bank and he's like, "Y'all put your phones away."
He knew better.
Oh
He
my
knew
gosh.
better.
I've never seen somebody walk down the banking in Bristol in socks with 2 people on both sides holding their arms.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
DBC picks.
Who won? Casey?
Oh man.
Casey won.
Is
Casey coming
Remember
back next
her?
week?
Remember her?
Is that the plan?
She is, yep.
Awesome. Monday
Yeah,
after
thanks
Kansas.
for telling me that right when I got here this morning, Evan. It's great news.
Karsyn, we love you. We've enjoyed you being here.
No, actually, I'm gonna celebrate.
I'll take back
I was
what I
just
just said.
getting ready to. I was just
I'm
getting ready
just
to give you a very
kidding.
nice
I'm just
compliment.
kidding.
Now you went and
No,
ruined it.
in all seriousness, I've had a great time.
Karsyn, you have done
I'm
a
sad.
fantastic job, and we will miss you.
I go first, Kyle Larson.
A little bit.
Feelings mutual.
Who are you going to celebrate with?
Lip licking. Whoever it is. I didn't say it, Karsyn. You said it.
Freddie's laugh.
I was having a whole different conversation in my head than you guys were, I think, at that moment.
Anyway, let's see. Where are we going? Kansas?
Kansas.
You picked second?
I think so. Yeah.
I was hoping you were like last.
Who'd you take? Larson?
Yeah.
Oof. We might be going heads up this week. Denny Hamlin.
I knew that's who he was picking. It's one or the other. Those two are bad at this place. Bubba Wallace also a good record here.
A good record? What'd you say?
Record.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Jaguar.
I'm taking Bubba.
What
the pick?
Thanks
All right.
a lot.
Yeah, you'll be at the airport.
At least
early.
I'll get the car started, I guess. Who got Casey's pick?
She just sent it over. Tyler Reddick.
Oh, good pick.
Solid.
45 car has won the.
I would.
The
have
45
picked him.
car has won this fall race, I think, 3 years in a row. We won with the 45. Tyler and Kurt were the last of the other two.
Yeah. I would have liked to take Tyler, but I already used him, and he brought me home a solid 27th. Appreciate it, Tyler.
Thanks, buddy. Oh, Tyler. I think he was at NHRA yesterday.
Where's that at?
Charlotte, I think. I assume.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I know a lot of people went, so I'm assuming it was a
I
Charlotte.
didn't even know that was this weekend until I just saw everybody's
I didn't either.
posts and stories.
Yeah. So Kansas, are you coming? You're not coming this week, right? Are you spotting?
No, I'm
Are
not
you-
coming to
are you
Kansas.
spotting
I'm
anymore?
coming to Talladega.
Are you spotting?
Yep.
Who's driving?
Who's driving Talladega?
I can't tell you.
It's me.
Same company?
Not same company.
Oh.
Is that an Xfinity driver
Yeah.
currently?
Yep.
I seen, how about Ty Norris? That was kind of big news this week. Ty Norris leaving
Yeah.
Trackhouse, going to Colleague. I think that's been announced, right?
Did they announce he's going there yet?
I think so.
I think they did, right?
I think I saw that announcement. I actually heard about it. Well, Freddie and I heard about it at about the same time. Last Monday?
It was the same text. So It was
Yeah.
definitely the same
Tuesday?
text.
What day was it?
Same group
Yeah.
thread.
What day was it?
It was early last week, Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, and so I started texting, some people at Colleague that would know, and they were like, yeah. And I was like, wow, that's a big hire. You get a guy who's run DEI, who's built Michael Waltrip Racing, who's helped build Trackhouse, and obviously Colleague is still in its infancy. I think it's easy to think they've been around forever because they have as a team in Xfinity, but in Cup, they're still new. So big get. Ty brings a lot to the table.
What's this guy's name? I can't remember. Adam Stern just tweeted the IndyCar series is going to charters, effective immediately. So there's I don't know, looks like standard.
Except for the 500, though.
No 500?
Yeah, the 500, there's no guaranteed spots.
Oh, I got you.
So that's the only wrinkle in that is that there's charters, but now
Whoever is
they're not
directing that
guaranteed.
ship is doing a great job. I mean, you look at their TV package, you look at the charter thing, you obviously have the second biggest race of the year. Some people's going to tell me it's the biggest. I get it. But they're doing a lot of great things over there.
So it's the second biggest behind Daytona?
For me.
For you? Gotcha.
Yep.
I saw Logan Sargent's coming over here doing IndyCar test.
Is he? That's I figured that's the next step because he
Yeah.
got kicked out of Formula. Not kicked
Yeah.
out, but he got replaced in Formula One, right?
Maybe that's where Ricardo comes over here too. 'cause
Is he
it's,
done too? I saw an interview where he was
they
like
haven't said
crying or
yet,
something.
but it sounds like it.
That'd be good.
Come to NASCAR.
Eyeballs on your product are a good thing.
And they're
Speaking
gonna
of
have them
eyeballs,
next
CW.
How'd that go?
Saw a lot of mixed reviews. I was at the racetrack for that one, but I did see a lot of mixed reviews on easy to find, hard to find in HD, not in HD, on the app, not on the app. Like I'm glad, and I say this in all seriousness, I'm really glad of two things. Number one, Dale Jr. was in the race because it gives people a higher appetite to want to watch it. Number two, people are realizing what they need in order to be able to watch Daytona when we start the year. Because the last thing you want is ratings to tank the first race of the year, which I'm assuming CW paid a lot of money to do. So, kudos to whoever figured out, let's put the Xfinity Series playoff on CW to finish the year to build up for next year.
Yeah. I saw, it's you don't think about a lot of things sometimes and cable, CW is like a basic package, right? You know, if you have cable, you have CW, and I was like, oh, so everybody's got it. And then you see all of a sudden the race kicks off, and the YouTube TV people are like, we don't get it, you can't get it, and I'm like, oh, this is a different world now. Like you a lot of people are just watching TV through an app or some streaming service. So hopefully,
how do you
get
watch
that figured
TV,
out.
Karsyn? I'm curious.
I do YouTube TV for live TV, and then just like Netflix and stuff. Otherwise, I really don't watch a lot of TV.
What do you do, TJ?
Excuse me. We do YouTube TV.
That motion when he said what do you do, and then that was tough.
I'm currently cable, but I spend a fortune.
Same.
Like I think it's like $400 a month or something.
Yeah,
stupid.
mine's $3
Holy, are you serious?
What?
I
Direct TV.
I got like eight boxes and all the channels and.
Dude, you should just go to streaming.
Yeah.
TVs are all. You don't need boxes for anything now because every TV's smart TV.
Smart, yeah.
And they just connect to the internet. You don't need a box or cable or anything. Just plug the thing.
Yeah. How much money am I gonna save?
A lot.
A lot.
I mean, I'm
About
gonna,
$400 a month.
Honest.
Jesus.
Really?
I mean, I think with
What's YouTube TV like?
I think with it maxed
It's like
out,
80 something.
80
But
something.
you're paying per box, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should.
Each
If you've
box is
got-
expensive.
If you've got Spectrum, you should be able to have like a master box because we had this set up in my house a couple years ago. You have like a master box, and then you can stream to your other TVs. You shouldn't have to have a box to every TV
Do you
anymore.
have
maybe-
DirecTV?
No, I used to.
Yeah,
No.
I don't.
Spectrum is the best for where I live in terms of cable or satellite.
Yeah.
So I went cable, but I've been there probably 7 years, so I'm sure I'm getting screwed.
If you need to probably go to streaming, and
You
won't-
spearhead that for me, and I'll pay you.
Now,
I'll pay you $400.
I'll do it.
Just call them and tell them
Yeah,
you're going to cancel.
That's all you got to do,
just
really.
say
Yeah, and then
I'm
they're
going
like,
to cancel,
"Here."
and they'll be like,
Oh, here's a deal.
here you go.
$3.99 a month. 17 boxes.
Just make sure your internet's good. Make sure your Xfinity X5 internet is super fast,
Amazing.
like it will be.
I have fast internet.
So
When
good
it
router,
works.
good router, and your TVs will. I mean, do you not have Sunday ticket?
No, dude, when have I been home on a Sunday?
Yesterday?
I wasn't
And
home
the one
yesterday.
before
Oh,
that.
you're playing baseball.
I was at the ball field. Yeah.
Well, you can still watch on your phone,
I don't like watching anything on my phone.
The YouTube TV 4-box though for Sunday Ticket is amazing.
dude.
It's
Well,
amazing.
that
How much does that cost?
$3.99.
They had a
or
promo running where it was like $100 off the
$399?
No, I
for
think
the
it's,
year.
It's either $2.99 or $3.99, one or the other.
It was like $350 for the year. It was
For
four-
Sunday ticket.
I like football, but not that
I
much.
will never
Thank
pay
God
it.
I don't know what's going
So,
on when I watch a football game.
They also
that.
they have the 4-box deal where it plays 4 games at one time, but there's like 6 different ones, so you probably get all the games that you want, or just the red zone. You can do that
Red
then
zone
with
is-
red zone. I just watch red zone.
I think you need to realize that I'm a huge college football fan.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm not a huge NFL.
So then,
See, I'm the
so then
opposite
get
of
it.
you.
Get YouTube TV for the college football 4-box. I'm telling you, it's changed the way I can
So
watch
if you have
games.
YouTube TV, can you watch NASCAR?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you can't watch
Maybe
CW.
not CW.
Just
No,
not
you can
CW.
watch. You can watch CW.
A lot of people, I in my mentions,
I
a
don't
lot of
know,
people were
I-
saying YouTube TV
I watched
didn't
CW
have
all weekend
CW.
on
Oh,
YouTube
okay.
TV. I didn't have any issues with it. But what's nice about YouTube TV is you've got unlimited DVR built in. So like I was at the Clemson game Saturday, but when I got back on Sunday, the race, like I have in there, any NASCAR Cup Series race will be DVR'd. So I was able to watch it commercial free and just scrub through the commercial Sunday without a
Speaking
problem.
of scrubs, your schedule scrubs. You don't play anybody. We play 7 ranked opponents
I knew
this year.
this was coming.
And Clemson plays 1. Georgia.
Why at least you called them by their real name, but you normally call them something else.
Well, Clem sucks. Taters.
That's okay. Our offense is back. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Clay Kublik's going to get his ass kicked. We're getting him. We're coming for him. I can't wait. We're going to bet, Jay.
I'm more
A lot.
scared. I'm more scared of
You
that Tennessee defense.
Start saving your money because we're betting a lot. It ain't going to be one of them $20 Alex Timms bets.
Poor Tampa Tim's. I mean, this guy's laying out bets, and I'm thinking there's what you know what it is. No unit. You can't shame anybody's unit.
Per John Kraft, no unit shaming is allowed.
You're not permitted to shame a unit. But when I saw that they bet $20, I was like, oh man, like.
Do we need to let him borrow some money so we can actually bet?
I don't know. Maybe
I'll give him $500.
I will not.
No, because he sucks.
Yes.
Okay. Never mind.
He did win. I think he won one this week. The college football bet I saw that they bet did not win.
Never mind. I'll keep my $500.
I forget. I think Bowman top 10 they had, which obviously hit. I can't remember what the other ones were. Yeah. So Kansas, we'll see everybody out there.
Yeah. Looks a little rainy.
Does it?
I didn't want to say it earlier.
You
but
ass.
Hey, there's a
It's
Hooters
early.
right there. You'll be fine.
It's
I'll
early.
be at Hooters.
It's early.
I'll probably be at Hooters Saturday night.
Not bad, like 55, 60 some days. But
This is going to be a wild round. Kansas
More
is
wild than the last one?
Kansas, yeah, man. I mean, you got two kind of wild card races out of 3. Obviously, Kansas a mile and a half. Talladega's in there, and then the good old Roval.
You know how worried
New
I am
Roval, too,
about
right?
it?
New Roval? Like they
Yes,
reconfigured
new
the Roval, right?
Yes, new configured Roval.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like once again, you're in a round where if a guy like Austin Cindric can bust off a top 12, top 15 this weekend, man, it sets him up to make the round of 8. So
You think he's gonna?
I think he could. I mean, I didn't have him, Austin Cindric. I didn't have him going far. And then when you look at what 3 tracks it was like, man, a road course, a plate race.
Yeah.
Here we are again. Road course, plate race, not plate race, but super speedway race. Only one, quote, real racetrack in terms of a mile and a half, a typical NASCAR racetrack. So it's once again, you're going to see guys who are really good potentially have a lot of bad luck.
I'm just laughing at it. My buddy Tapley just tweeted something and said, like, quote unquote, the racing ain't like Bristol in the old days. It's the old days. And it says it looks like 1973, maybe. I don't even know what year it is. Cale Yarborough led 500 laps.
I don't think that's the old days, though. That's the real old days. All right, we're wrapping up, man. We appreciate you guys. Love you. We'll see you off to Kansas.
Word.
We out. Holla.